James, what did you learn from my YouTube?
Okay. One is the source of gold in West Africa,
Yeah,
especially in Mali,
yeah.
and the requirements, because I've been dealing with gold from Tanzania, but there has been a lot of things which have not been clear.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you explained, especially the process, I was quite impressed.
Oh, thank you
First,
very much.
for us to prove that we are serious customers.
Mm-hmm.
First, the letter of intent, to show that the money is there for the transactions.
Correct.
So I think that was quite resourceful, because I've been in Tanzania just looking for gold. Then I flew to Dubai, tried to look for market. Then I came back to Nairobi, but then I was planning to fly to Mali. So a few people are telling me, okay, fine, we'll take you to Mali. We'll show you people who will sell you gold.
Don't fly if you're
But
not
now
prepared.
I started searching on YouTube. Then that's how I got your YouTube channel.
Okay, how long you been searching for a real seller?
Like 6 months or so. I found like 3 serious ones in Dubai. Sorry, buyers. Okay, sellers is like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, Zambia and Tanzania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now the challenge is most of those sellers are telling you, send us money, we accumulate gold fast for like 2 weeks or so.
No,
And
don't send money. Don't send money.
Yeah.
Unless you know the seller. Yeah. So aside from the video, what did you learn again? Because I explained everything.
Yes. I think I'm okay. What I would prefer, because right now the kind of the minimum you said is 10 kgs.
That's correct. At least to start with.
Yes, to start with. So what I'll do, I have my colleague who has the capability of it's like it's somebody he deals with gold, but I told him I can introduce him when I saw your video. I can bring him to you, because he has the financial muscle to buy between 10 to 50 kgs.
Okay. So before you bring the buyer to the group, you have to understand that everything now is online, and all question and answer is on my YouTube channel. I want you to digest it properly, because if you're gonna bring the buyer and then the buyer has a lot of terms and condition, I'm going to reject your buyer. So make sure the buyer understand. Make sure, because I have been rejecting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fake buyers.
I get it.
So you have to listen to the video properly and read the full corporate offer, right?
Yes.
Then you bring the buyer so that the buyer would not be rejected. Yeah. Yes.
That's fine. Then I had a few questions.
Go ahead.
On the computations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, assuming the gold now is like $60 per
almost 61. Almost 61.
It just started going up again. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's assume it's 61. Yeah. So 61. When you say you are giving, I saw you are saying between 8 to 11. Then there is a client you also gave 14%. I don't know what is the current discount when you are starting with a new person.
Our selling price is really 8% out of the world market price, right? The world market is 60. Today's the price of gold, it fluctuates just like a wave, ups and down. So now I look at on the price of the world market today. The time here in Australia is 6:37 in the morning. Someone wake me up.
Yes.
So the price of gold today is 62.90 on the world market. Out of 60,290, less 8%.
Yeah.
Which is
that will be
57.86. Hang on just a moment. I'm gonna go to my file. Just bear with me. It's 55,400.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay. Now that 55,000, that is unrefined gold. All right. So because the
Yes.
price is 60,200, that is refined.
Yeah.
Mhm. You are
Aha.
buying unrefined.
Yes.
So we give the buyer a discount in order for him to get the profit.
Aha.
Yes. So we give them 8%. If you're gonna sell it to Dubai, less 2% or 3%, you have 5%. However, because I'm going
Yeah.
to assist the buyer on the ground, I don't want the buyer to
Yeah.
travel without Wilhelmina. Because in Africa, you're
Yes.
African, it's very hard to deal with, right?
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
hard. The
Yes,
seller
you're
can
right.
turn you down instantly. If I am on the ground, because I
Yeah.
validated the buyer, the seller would not turn you down.
Aha.
Instead of 8%, because I'm going to charge the buyer of my extra service to accompany him in order to assist
Yeah.
him in the office, I will give the buyer at least
Yeah.
11%.
11%. Okay.
Because
Okay, I
I'm
get
going
it.
to charge the buyer my
Yeah.
services.
Yes.
Okay. Now the buyer got a 3%. Sometimes I give the buyer extra of 4% because I'm charging the buyer of $20,000 to cover my travel cost.
$20,000.
That's
Okay.
correct. The $20,000, it covers my airfare, hotel accommodation, expenses, etc. But in spite of
Uh-huh.
that, the guarantee that the
Yeah.
buyer will get the gold, guaranteed. Why? I know my
Okay.
seller.
Uh-huh.
I know my seller.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then when the buyer send an L.O.I, letter of
Uh-huh.
interest, because the buyer has to introduce himself.
Yes.
They're gonna say, okay, well, Amina, I talked to James. I am the buyer. Please,
Yeah.
I want to purchase gold. So then, when he send a letter of interest, I will gather the
Yeah.
buyer's vital information. I will.
Uh-huh.
So when the
Yes,
buyer
yes.
show me a copy of his
Yeah.
business registration, an importation
Mm-hmm.
license, and passport copy, and the bank statement, the value, let's
Mm-hmm.
say I'm going to give the buyer $50,000. Assuming, huh? Okay,
Yes.
50,000.
Mm-hmm.
How many kilos the buyer wants?
He wanted to start with 10 kgs.
Okay, times 10. That is
Yeah.
$500,000.
500,000. That's
Uh-huh. So without that, if the buyer cannot
yeah.
convince me, I'm going to
Yeah.
reject you and your buyer. Especially if the buyer come
Yes,
to me
yes.
that, oh, I'm a buyer, bring the gold to Dubai, C.I.F,
No, no,
immediately
no.
your buyer will be rejected. Because C.I.F,
I'll explain to him. Yeah.
because
Yes.
CIF stand for cost, insurance, and freight only. He has to pay the products.
Yes.
He has to.
Yes.
There is no
Yes.
upfront. People say,
Mm.
oh, I don't want to pay upfront. Well, don't be involved because you don't have capital.
That's
Gold
true.
is the property of the country. So therefore, the seller has to apply for export documentation that he's going to export the gold to your buyer. Without that, your buyer
Yes.
gonna be in trouble.
Yes, 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 you're right.
And outselling price is tax included except logistic and insurance.
Yes, that's a question which I had. The let's say the 62. Okay, okay, 62. We are talking of like 24%. The 24 current.
That's
So that
24
is that's
carats.
inclusive of the 7%. Yeah,
Yeah.
the 7%. Perfect. That's the question I had.
Yeah. So I'm the one will negotiate to my head office. I'm the one.
Yes.
Because the buyer is
Okay.
paying my extra service to accompany the buyer in the office.
Yes.
The seller will say, okay, our selling price is 8%. Take it or leave it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if I'm going to be with the buyer, I'll give the buyer more than 8%. So at the end of the day, the buyer is a winner.
Yes.
Yeah, last
Yes.
year I
Yes.
charged the buyer, I brought the buyer in Africa, in Conakry, 2022. The buyer did pay my extra service of $15,000. Okay? And
Yeah.
he was been scam in Ghana.
Uh-huh.
So he searched both parties, a male and female. They searched on
Yeah.
YouTube channel and they found me. So we have a
Yeah.
conversation for almost a month. And I told
Yeah.
him, it's up for you to make a decision. the full corporate offer, you read it first, and then when you understand, get back to Wilhelmina. You know, they come back to me, Wilhelmina, we are willing to pay your extra. We want to get the gold. When they arrive, they're very happy. They get the gold. The transaction successful.
Yeah.
You know what the buyer says? My extra service is worth it. It's worth it.
Yes. Let me ask. Okay, the other question.
Go ahead.
I know. I'll talk with the buyer.
Yeah.
The question is if the buyer is able to provide you with all the information according to the requirements which I've seen in the video, how long does it take for the approval?
Well, instantly when I receive the buyer's information, I will immediately send a copy to my head office that let us proceed now. I validated the buyer properly. So the buyer will receive a letter of confirmation that, dear Mr. Buyer, thank you very much that you are talking to our mandate based in Australia. Yes, the 10 kilos is available for you. We sit aside. Then the seller will send you a contract, a cash contract. And then the seller will send you a landing visa because you are a valued customer of the seller. All right.
Perfect. Okay.
So I'll be the one to determine which seller I'm going to bring your buyer.
Okay.
I'll be the one.
Okay.
Yes, because once I bring the buyer, perfect. The buyer is happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And how long will that take? Like, let's say by Friday we send you all our details.
Okay, at least the buyer will stay at least maximum of nine days. Why? When the buyer travel with me, let's say I'll put the buyer in Sierra Leone, assuming, or Mali, or even Conakry, because I handle 3 countries. Then we send a letter to the buyer. Dear Mr. Buyer, thank you very much for your interest. Yes, we are willing to welcome you. Your 10 kilos will be set aside. So the buyer will receive a company profile of the seller, mining license of the seller, right? And we gather the banking details of the buyer. And when the buyer receive, everything is on the contract. Why? The banking details of the buyer is very important because the payment must be bank to bank because of money laundering. So the buyer will bring at least $10,000 or $9,000 to pay some charges, because there is a cost on $100 per kilo to acid the gold. Sometimes I ask the seller to absorb that. Only if I am on the ground.
You said there's a $10,000 for the. This is for the purification, yeah.
Yeah, you bring the cash. No. The buyer has to bring cash with him, because he has to pay some charges. Yeah. Yeah, he has to bring his cash with him.
Let's say, like, how much if our interest is 10 kg to start, how much would you advise us to carry as cash?
Well, you're allowed to carry at least 10,000 only.
$10,000.
The rest payment has to be bank, because it's 500,000. You cannot bring 500,000. You're gonna be questioned in outgoing or incoming.
Yeah. The other question, okay, though I had it from the video, I'm just confirming. Let's say we have gotten, what we've gotten is about 22 karat.
That is 23, because the 22 plus equivalent to 23. Yeah. And the most important 23 is the purity. The purity is 96, from 96, 97, 98. It depends on every bar. It depends on the result of the assay. It depends.
And if we would want it purified up to 99 before it leaves Mali, what is the costing for that?
Well, if you're going to purify that, you have to. There is a refinery in Mali can purify Dore bar to 99.99 kmr. KMR can purify.
How much will they charge us?
I think when I called KMR 3 years ago, they are charging $150 before. And the KMR will not accept the gold unless the seller and the buyer can provide KMR an information. Why? Because some of the gold are stolen. Some of the gold are from
right.
Gaddafi. So the KMR is very careful as well. Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
everything must be documented. Now, the seller would not deal KMR. So what you have to do if your buyer wants to purify in Mali, he has to assay the gold first to D in GM. It's a government refinery. I'll give you the background of Mali. I've been to Mali already. There are 3 private refineries. Unicorn Gold Refinery, KMR, and Marina. There were 3 refineries, private. They came into the market 2015. That is business. They invest there. The government give them tax incentive to create employment. That is fine. The DNGM is a government. They were there before, excuse me, before the 3 refinery came in. So all of the sellers in Mali would not deal private. Wouldn't. They will only deal a private if I am there because I have to do the homework. I already spoken to KMR 3 years ago. And the buyer has to have an account because the buyer is using KMR's services. So there is a process. You cannot just say, "Oh, bring the gold to KMR." No, you wouldn't able because KMR is very strict as well. KMR is an Italian group of company. They are there in Mali buying gold, refine the gold, and ship it to their headquarters in Europe. So that is how. Any question?
You said the $150 is per kg for the refinery. Yeah?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
That was explanation to me 3 years ago. Yes, because I called KMR. I called KMR myself. Because I want to know I want to know the process of KMR. Right.
Yes.
So then I can share it to the public, but I have nothing to do with KMR. No, I have nothing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Assuming going forward, if we would want like just pay and then our gold is packed and sent to Dubai,
can be done.
How easy is that?
Can be done. In Mali, there is MS shipping. They have a branch in Dubai.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I will give you the information of MS. I done my research, so now I'm pleased to share. There is MS brings in Mali and in Conakry, and also in Sierra Leone. Yeah. So the buyer can choose what shipping logistic he's going to use as long as he pay the gold, because the gold cannot be given to the buyer without any export documentation.
Yes. That one I fully understand. Probably another question which I should have done my research is what is the rough cost of shipping from probably Mali to...
Well, you asked MS how much they charge, because I think they charge on the total sale value 500,000, 1.5 on logistic, 1.5 on insurance. The logistic is just like a G4S or DHL. You bring the goods to them, they will inspect the goods, and you pay their shipping cost. Yes.
So it's about 3%.
3%, yes.
Wow. Okay. The other question I had, since right now I don't have the capability of buying like 10 kgs, but the guy I'm bringing, he has the capability. So I'm more like a broker right now.
Okay, that's fine. That is fine.
Is there a commission from your side if I just
no one? The seller would not give double commission, because once we give the buyer a discount, buyer needs needs the profit. Now, however, Wilhelmina is very kind and generous. I will give you a gesture of goodwill, but the seller would not pay double commission. No.
Okay, I fully understand. How much would come from Almina now?
Well, we will
For
discuss it.
100 kg.
We will discuss it once the buyer meet the criteria. There's no point to
Yeah.
discuss how much I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a referral fee if the buyer didn't meet the criteria. What a waste of time. Yeah, that's why I put
Anyway,
everything online, because we want to deal directly to the buyer. I've given all the brokers an opportunity since 2011. They don't even read, they
yeah.
don't comprehend. I always say,
Oh,
please
don't
read it.
worry. Don't worry. I'm also coming from real estate. I heard you have done real estate. I'm also coming from real estate.
Yes,
So
in real estate,
I
exactly the
understand a
same.
lot.
You have to know the
Yeah.
product knowledge. I know the product knowledge.
Yes.
In
Yes.
and out. Yeah.
Yes. So I fully understand what you're explaining there. So I think what I will do on my side first is, because this client who I have in Kenya, he has the money, and he has been dealing with gold, so also he understands quickly.
But Kenya, there's a lot
yeah.
of gold in Kenya coming from Congo. Why you cannot get the gold in Kenya?
I don't want that. The Congo, the smuggled one, I really don't want to engage on that. The one I wanted to do was Tanzania, because Tanzania was very straight, because it was from the government, but the margins were too small. You can't even make money.
Well, in Tanzania, I know they're selling less 2%.
Yeah. You can't make money. If you buy from Tanzania government, you can't.
You cannot.
have to sell.
Yeah.
So now that's why I'm thinking of coming to Mali. We see what we can do. I also have 3 clients in Dubai, but I need to go back and sit with them and now explain to them the quotations first, because those were the questions they were asking me when I was there last
Well,
week.
if you're gonna mention if you're gonna mention my name to the Dubai buyer, they will run away from you. I'm giving you a warning already. Everybody knows me in Dubai.
They run away. Why? Why would they run away?
They're scared of they're scared of me. Yeah.
Why are they scared? And I thought your offer was okay.
Well, they don't want to follow the golden rules. They want to follow the rules. It wouldn't work. Most of the buyers in Dubai asking C.I.F. Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Sometimes
it wouldn't work
to follow.
They are buying world asset. Why are we gonna bring the asset to them without knowing? You never know that buyer is a swindler. You never know that buyer is a mafia. There's so many mafia in this business.
Yes. I saw a lot of people from Mali bringing gold there in gold sock in Dubai.
Well, they smuggled it. Yeah, they smuggled it. I don't know how did they do that. But my seller wouldn't.
Anyway.
My seller wouldn't.
Yeah.
My seller is a big organization. He wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't think they would have an issue, because the few I talked to, okay, the issue that time was that we want to pay when we see the gold, but I told them that is impossible.
That's impossible.
Because, I mean, it is impossible unless somebody has a lot of money, just want to bring it there for you to see, then to buy.
I meet the nephew of Marina in Dubai, because I always, when I travel to Africa, I always stop over in Dubai. I learn in Dubai. This nephew from Marina, he said they have an office. Madam, we are buying gold. Bring it to our office. We pay 2%. I said, you have an office in Mali. You have a refinery in Marina. Why you cannot find the gold? You know what he said? We are short of supply. So what they do?
Short of supply.
Yes, what they do? They have an office there. They ask for the buyer to put money into their account on the spot before the goods delivered to them.
Yeah.
Right. They asked me to supply them. The nephew was talking to me, and we have a good dinner. Right.
Yeah.
And I was just laughing. Right. And he get the gold in Mali and bring it to Dubai, because they have an office in Dubai. But when they bring gold in Dubai, 2% is going to sell it to the refinery in Dubai.
Oh, the refinery charges 2%.
Yes, they're buying 2%. Yes.
Oh, you are saying the refinery in Dubai charges 2% to refine it?
No, they are
or to
buying.
buy it?
They're buying less 2% based on the world market.
Oh, less 2% based on the world market.
We're
Okay.
giving the buyer 8%. So the buyer is a winner. The buyer has to
Yeah.
establish business relationship with us,
Mm,
or else he wouldn't get the real supplier.
yes, 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 yes.
So most of the buyer's mandate cannot comprehend. Very simple. My seller didn't teach me. I was the one who
Yeah.
educate the seller. This is what you have to do. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, you are coming from the real estate, so it's the same. It is just a different product. It's just how you
No,
you
the
present it.
same product. When you buy, you have to know. When you sell, you have to know the product knowledge. What necessary requirement that you have to follow to the government, because that gold belong to the government. Now,
Yes.
when the soil touch it, okay, the mines belong to the seller. He applied for the
Yeah.
mines to the government. The government issued the seller mining license. But once the gold
Yeah.
out of the sand, now it's now belong to the country, because the country
Yes.
needs taxes. The seller has to
Yes. Yes.
charge the buyer here's the goods plus tax. Here in Australia, our tax is 10%. We don't have any complaint.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So I hope you understand with my explanation. It's really very clear and simple. If you watch the
Yes.
video
Yes. Yes.
thoroughly, I'm sure you're a winner.
It is. It is. It is. So I think I've gotten the. I have understood it very well. You said you told me it's 8%. Can you go down to okay? How far down can you go in terms of discount?
Well, if the buyer
from the world
convince
market?
if the buyer convince us, I will see.
Yeah.
If the buyer doesn't convince Wilhelmina, I wouldn't. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to ask my seller to give the buyer a leeway, because the buyer paying my extra service. So I'm going to throw back 4 or 5% back to the buyer. At the end of the day, the buyer is a winner. The buyer will become instant millionaire. The seller wouldn't get profit. The seller lucky, the end of the year, the seller get the net profit of 5%, and the buyer needs handsome profit. To me, they're crooks if this is the way.
Yeah.
To mine you're African. To mine gold is not easy under the heat of the sun.
No, it's tough.
It's tough business.
It's tough mining.
And then this foreigner.
That's what I wanted to do in Tanzania, but I realized
it costs money.
now it's raining very much.
Yeah, it costs money.
It's a lot of money.
And then this buyer in Dubai, they only think about their profit. They don't think about the long term. They don't.
Yes.
And the community is suffering. Mali is the third largest gold producer in West Africa. Today, I read a write-up about Mali. They are now second largest gold producer.
Okay.
Second largest. Why this mining company from Australia in Mali? Why they're there? There are 3 mining company from Australia positioning themselves in Mali. Why KMR positioning themselves in Mali? Why? They're big company.
Yeah, you're right.
And their refinery is 500 meters away from international airport.
Okay.
It's big. It's a big organization. Yes. Why they're there? So most of the buyer in Dubai, they only think about themselves. They want to think about, oh, I buy the gold in Africa. I want to become rich. Yeah, you will become rich if you have a capital.
Then okay, let me ask you a question slightly outside.
Go ahead.
Because I was in Dubai, I was just trying to check them.
Go ahead.
So if we buy gold, because my client has a company in Dubai also.
Okay.
Is he able to like go straight and sell it to the refineries?
Yeah, you can.
Instead of
you can.
Okay.
You can.
At 2% below world price.
Yeah. The refinery will buy whatever the price of the day.
Okay.
Whatever the price of the day. So your buyer has to understand that when the gold is down, buy now. Then sell it when the gold is high. The price of gold is just like a wave. There is a high tide and low tide. Last week, the price was low tide. Today, this week, the price is high tide. So the buyer doesn't understand that. They only think about profit. You will never get a profit if you don't understand the mechanics. My seller was telling me, thank God that we found you, Mrs. Ford. Thank God. We've been ripped off by an international buyer. That's why the seller is also ripping off the buyer. They make a revenge. Yeah.
So what you're saying, the refineries in Dubai will buy from me a price which is 2% less the global gold price.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, when I was in Dubai last year, I went to a jewelry manufacturer. Right? I have an appointment. Even 92%, they can make it into 99.99. I was inside the laboratory. From the dust gold, they smelt it to the bar. From the bar, they refine it to different uses. They make into jewelry, they make into ring, they make into 99.99. I was shocked. If you go on my Facebook, I was inside the factory.
Oh, I've just followed you. I've just started. You've actually made me to join Facebook. I was not in Facebook.
Just go on my Facebook. My Facebook is very thorough. That is my online store. Yeah.
Okay.
That YouTube channel, I explain it. I give you guys the procedure, but most of you doesn't read it. I don't know why you don't read it.
I know. Don't worry. I'll follow. Me, I'm very keen.
That's why I always say when I interview the buyer, the broker, did you go to school? Why you cannot comprehend?
Because we don't want you also don't want your time to be wasted. That's why you put all that information there.
The reason why I put everything, because I don't want to waste my time. You read, then when you read and then tell your buyer that there's no way you can get C.I.F. There's no way. Those seller offer you C.I.F. Wait for disaster at the end of the day. Wait until the gold will not arrive. There was I will not mention the name of a person. They went to Dubai. Okay, and that person waiting in the hotel, the gold didn't arrive.
Wow.
And the person paid taxes. Another American guy. I advise him, do not travel because you have only $40,000. And he went to Kampala. And he was given $35,000 3 years ago. And he paid taxes. The gold didn't arrive in Dubai. And he was stranded in Dubai. And I even helped this American guy. And he was homeless. I sent him $450 because I feel sorry for him. Every time I come to Dubai, I invite him for lunch, dinner. He was become homeless.
Hey, that is serious.
He was become homeless. Recently, he was being deported. He was being deported to America. And he called me.
Yeah, I was told the same story. I went to Dubai, so I got a Somali man there. And he was giving me a story of his friend flew from the US, and a relative also flew from Europe. They went to Mali. They had seen, I think, somebody, on internet. They went, saw the goat, paid everything, came to Dubai to wait for the goat. They waited, but nothing came. So, I mean, they were robbed. They was good at all that money.
Yeah, that is the reason. That is the reason why I said to the buyer, do not travel if you don't have much capacity to pay. When the seller say, okay, you pay taxes, don't do that because the gold will not leave the country. Because the gold belong to the community. One gold bar belong to many people. They would not allow the gold to give it to you without the money. So most of the crook buyers, they don't understand. I call them crooks.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
so many crooks.
I agree.
Yeah. Especially Chinese Indians are bargainer. One Indian was sent
There's a
out
lot of
out of the office when I was in the office.
yeah,
They keep on bargain, bargain, bargain. My seller said,
yeah,
"Go back to your country. Bring your money. Bring your
yeah.
money back to you. Gold will not fade." You know, can you see that?
Yes.
My seller said, "Gold will not fade.
Mm,
Your money has no value. That's paper money." I'll give you an
yes.
example.
Mm,
Get the lighter, James. Burn your paper
yeah,
money. That paper money
yeah.
will burn instantly, right? And you will not see
Yes, it
that
will be.
paper money. You burn the gold.
Yes.
You burn the
Yeah.
dust gold. It's still gold.
Mm, yeah, and it becomes even
It's still
better.
gold. But you burn the paper
Yes.
money. The paper money would never return back to you. It's gone.
Mm,
See, can you get the logic here?
yes, yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. I get it. I get it. So, okay. So, let's take an example. Assuming we get approved probably within a few days, and we would want you to fly
We travel
for us
together.
to meet in.
I'll meet you in Dubai,
How
from
far?
Australia to Dubai. Yeah, next week.
Okay, okay.
Next week,
Yeah,
because I have to prepare the buyer's
yeah.
information to send it to my head office, and we will send the buyer a formal
Mm,
invitation. You cannot just fly to Mali without a formal invitation. When you're gonna be invited,
okay.
you are a valued client of my seller,
Yes, yes, yes. You're right.
and Wilhelmina be with you. So you are my valued customer because you come to Wilhelmina, and my
Yes,
services is non-refundable.
yes,
And the money has to send it to
yes.
Wilhelmina to buy my ticket, and I book my hotel. That's it.
Aha,
In
aha.
return, the buyer will get a good discount because of me.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Is this a $20,000 negotiable?
Yeah, the only $20,000 to cover all my expenses. So, 2019, I charged the buyer $10,000, right? Successful.
Yeah.
2022,
Mm-hmm.
$15,000, successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2023, 20,000. Why? The airfare
Uh-huh.
has increased.
Yes, 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 yes. The cost
Everything
of
has
living has
increased.
really come up.
Yes.
Yeah.
The $20,000 is peanuts. It's
Yeah.
peanuts.
Yeah. Because I'm just trying to compute how much my client would make out of the 10 kgs just to see.
I will give your client a very good leeway price. I will give it. I will
We'll appreciate.
negotiate on behalf of your client. I will ask my head office to give your client a leeway because the client has
Yeah.
also expenses. Yes.
Yes, yes, you're right. Yes, yes, and because for this fast flight, I know we will come with him, God willing.
Yeah, I can
Then
travel tomorrow if you want.
yeah,
I have to
yes,
meet
yes,
you guys, and I have to meet the buyer in Dubai.
yes,
Is this
yes.
a long term? The trial is only 10 kilos. How about the following month? Is he really buying a long term or short term?
Yeah, he's a long term. He's a long term buyer, and I know he can buy 50 even plus.
Well, he has to build.
10 kg is just a trial.
He has to build the credibility to us. Because once he's 10 kilos successful, he doesn't have any worry.
Yeah.
He doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't go to any seller because he's happy with the services of my seller and Wilhelmina because I'm going to guide the buyer. That's why the buyer pay for my extra service. Non-refundable.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right.
That is understandable.
So understand now. How long you been searching for gold? How did you find Wilhelmina in the beginning?
There was a time I was checking internet gold in the world, gold in West Africa, gold in Ghana, Malawi. Then I found you when you were saying you only do Mali and Guinea. That is like 6 months ago. Then today I said, let me go back. Let me look for this lady. So I went back.
If your buyer is from Dubai and Conakry one stop, or they have Emirates twice a week.
Perfect. Okay. That is even easier.
Yeah, it's more easier.
That is easier. That's okay. I'll talk to my client tomorrow. We have a meeting. Then first is to make sure he understands everything. When he understands everything, then I'll do the introduction.
Our conversation, James, is on the record. You must remember.
Yes.
You're gonna be on my platform.
That's okay. That's fine. There's no problem.
At least the buyer hear our conversation. That you know why I put everything on this online, James.
Yeah.
The seller hired Wilhelmina 2011. I handled Ghana. That was the first.
Yeah.
And Ghana is really notorious.
Mm-hmm.
Sellers are notorious, and buyers
Yeah.
and sellers screwed me.
Oh,
They
so
screwed
sad.
me. The seller is real, but when the buyer said, "Okay, I like your gold. I know you're concerned." I brought a Mexican buyer in Ghana. And then we asked the gold at ER Logistic. His name is Eric Blasco and Mr. Marine Cortez. And we bought the metal box at Accra Shopping Center. I guided them, right? And I entertained them. We go out with my own expenses. And the seller brought the gold 50 kilos from the village to Accra. And I wasn't aware that the seller hired the armor car with 2 armor car to escort. You know how much the seller paid the armor car? The security is $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't aware on that because the seller didn't told me. So they brought the 50 kilos to Accra, and then they're gonna deposit the gold to the security company for safety reason, because that is $1 million. That was $25 million before, because the price of gold was high. Before the gold brought to ER Logistic, I went to ER Logistic. I introduced myself that I am Mrs. Ford from Australia. So I tour around the refinery. During that time, ER Logistic was the best refinery in town, 2011. So we bring the gold to ER Logistic. We open the box of 50 kilos, thinking that the buyer can afford. During that time, to acid the gold is only $50, right? Per kilo. He couldn't afford. He doesn't have money.
Wow.
So my seller was already screaming at me. I said to my seller, relax. Let's take out the 3 kilos or 5 kilos to acid the gold. So the gold was being acid to the laboratory, and the chemical is too strong. I couldn't stay inside. So the seller and the buyer was inside because the chemical is too strong for me. So I was waiting in the office. So the gold was put in the water in front of me, and the acid report was the best result. Okay? So we went back to the hotel. We have another board meeting, and the buyer, they said, we are happy and we want to invest gold and etc. etc. Right? Lucky that my driver is very loyal to me. And the driver stayed in my hotel. I give the driver good entertainment, and the seller paid my trip, and the seller give me money to spend while I was in Ghana. The seller is good seller. But what happened when the seller was offered that they're gonna invest in mining, and at the end of the day, the buyer and the seller doesn't want to talk to me. So the driver that the company provide me was very loyal to me. So I go down to my hotel in the lobby, and the buyer and the seller discussing. They don't want to talk to me. That I was the one who brought the buyer, and I'm their mandate. You know, I told the seller, you are going to regret it. You have no idea whom you are hiring for. And I'm going to blog you. I'm going to tell the world, do not come to Ghana, because Ghana is full of notorious scammer. I was right. Every time the buyer come to Ghana, they call Wilhelmina. I told them, don't trouble. I warn all the seller, do not muck around with my buyer and Wilhelmina. Because if you muck around, I'm gonna blog you, and I'm going to fired you. I already fired one seller in Conakry.
Mm,
I already fired one. I have 3 sellers, only 2 left.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. I fired seller in Sierra Leone as well.
Yeah.
I always warn the seller, do not muck around when I bring the buyer.
Yes.
So our conversation, any seller can hear our conversation. This is for all buyers and sellers. Don't muck around with Wilhelmina.
Yes.
Because you're gonna regret it. I'm not scared. Because I want to correct the crookedness of the buyer and the seller.
Yeah, there's a lot of crooked people in this market.
Yeah, that's why Africa has been tarnished. Because the seller offer undervalued, the seller offer, okay, you pay taxes. What happened? The gold would not come. Look at this American guy. He was stranded in Dubai for 3 years.
That's a sad story.
He was been arrested and then deported to America. And then he called me in the airport. I said, good that you've been deported. He called me, Madam, I'm homeless. Madam, I don't have money. I feel sorry because he's a good friend of mine. I sent him $450. I'm not supposed to help people.
Expensive.
And I told my friend, you know what? I'm not a Christmas tree. The money doesn't grow on the Christmas tree. So now he's back in California.
That's an experience.
Now I have a good experience and bad experience. Even African people come to Dubai, they're all stranded.
I think so. Yeah.
You know, when American was in jail, he told me there are so many African seller also in jail. Indians, Filipinos, all nationality. Yes.
Wow.
Dubai is a nice country, but if you made a mistake, you're gonna be in Calabos. Dubai's rules and regulation is very strict. You can smuggle the gold, but second or third, if the government caught you, that's it.
That's it, yes.
That's it. Dubai is the best country, but expensive country to live, to stay.
Yeah, it's very expensive. Very expensive.
There's so many buyers crying. They come to Wilhelmina. I rejected them. A minute they asked C.I.F, I said, good luck.
Oh, yeah. C.I.F won't work. It has to be F.O.B, prevent board.
Yeah. Africa is cash business, not a credit business.
Oh, yeah. You are right. You are right.
So you're happy now with our conversation? Our conversation is on the record.
Yes. I'm happy, and thank you very much.
And I'll give you a copy of our conversation.
Yeah, sorry?
I will give you a copy of our conversation so that you can listen and explain to your buyer that you were talking to Mrs. Ford.
Okay.
That you were talking to Mrs. Ford and you fully understood there's no way you can get gold CIF. This is cash business. Bank-to-bank payment.
Yes.
Because of money laundering.
I'll appreciate to go through it and also go through it with him.
All right. Thank you, James, and have a pleasant good morning. Today is Thursday.
Yes.
What time is it now in your end?
It's morning. I think just a minute. It's it's midnight.
Okay, go back to bed, and when you wake up, you will hear our conversation on YouTube and on my Facebook.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jim, and have a pleasant good morning and good evening to you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.